They erased us from the history books, burned our cities, thought we'd never return. But now we're back, and we remember everything. The Dominion will fall. This isn't conquest. This is justice. The stars murmured secrets of empires long extinguished, of civilizations buried beneath galactic memory, of ancient horrors whispered in quiet constellations. 1,000 species thrived across the void, each boasting its own rise, its own ruin. But one tale endured, a legend sealed in shadow: the Terrans, a race once so merciless, so relentless in its hunger for domination, that the elder civilizations purged every mention of them from the annals of history. Some said they obliterated themselves in a cataclysm of their own making. Others whispered that they vanished beyond the stars, into the dark, watching and waiting. For centuries, the myth faded like starlight at dawn, until something returned. The Vol Imperium, rulers of 200 stellar systems, had basked in supremacy for millennia. Their fleets eclipsed suns. Their science stood centuries beyond the reach of their rivals. So when deep space scanners caught a tremor along the far rim, it was dismissed as scavengers or refugees. They dispatched the Crimson Fong, a lone dreadnought, to swat the threat aside. Its crew laughed when the intruders came into view, bulky, brutal ships, more like armored bones than vessels. Primitive things, no elegance, no refinement. The captain of the Fong hailed the anomaly with bored contempt. The reply came in a dead language, long erased from their archives. "We are Terran sovereignty. Surrender, or be consumed." The bridge went quiet. Laughter died, and Captain Threx of the Fong felt the first true terror of his career curl around his spine. The Terran fleet moved like phantoms, despite their crude aesthetics, every angle calculated, their weapons glowing like ghost fire. Threx scoffed, ordered their destruction. He didn't survive the hour. Kinetic hellfire ruptured shields. Antiquated rail cannons shredded Imperium hulls like paper. Missiles ancient in design struck with horrifying precision. The Fong didn't even send a full distress call. Its bridge was vaporized in a single rail burst. The Terrans lost no ships. Whispers raced through the stars like wildfire. Underscore the legends are real. The ghosts are back. Underscore. The Imperium scrambled, deploying wave after wave of new fleets, expecting to crush the invaders with sheer numbers. But Terran tactics defied reason. There was no diplomacy, no mercy, no rules. They targeted supply lines, fuel silos, civilian manufacturing worlds. They weren't just winning battles. They were unraveling an empire thread by thread. And everywhere they struck, a message lingered in their wake. We have returned. In the obsidian war hall of Overlord Kael Veruin, the Imperium's high command gathered in stunned silence. Holograms flickered, each one showing worlds in flames, fleets torn asunder. "These revenants," Admiral Therek muttered, mandibles twitching. They wield ancient machines. Crude steel. They shouldn't be this powerful. Veruin turned to his data warden, the ghost-skinned Ellerin. Her voice trembled. "We erased them. Yet, what remains speaks of unparalleled endurance and unyielding wrath. Perhaps they never left." The Imperium had faced many foes, rebellions, syndicates, rival nations. All adhered to the sacred rules of warfare. Terrans didn't. They struck like monsters in the dark. Silent, surgical, savage. Their war was all-consuming, and they were only growing stronger. Then came the invasion of Veltrax V, the first planetary stronghold to fall. The Imperium had believed the Terrans to be raiders, not conquerors. They were wrong. Veltrax burned for weeks. The Terrans left no survivors. When the smoke cleared, their black flag billowed above the ruins. A new empire was rising, and the stars would never be the same. Pursue them. Leave no survivor. Supreme Archon Kael Veruin's command rang through the chamber, but even he could feel the emptiness in the words. The Imperium had always triumphed, because it had always been stronger. But now, for the first time, they faced an enemy that felt no fear. For the Terrans, This war wasn't about territory or dominance. It was personal, and far beyond the rim of known space, new fleets gathered in silence. Humanity was only just beginning. Across the Imperium, the war machine surged. Dockyards belched flame night and day. Military academies overflowed. The citizenry fed on tales of Terran barbarity, urged to arms. But even as they mobilized, the Terrans advanced, relentless, surgical, chaotic. Their strategy defied every doctrine the Imperium had spent a millennium refining. Where the Vol emphasized order, the humans sowed entropy. A single Terran flotilla could cripple logistics and vanish into the dark before alarms were sounded. When Veltrax 5 fell, it was seen as an exception. When Duran 6 and Drellis Prime followed within days, the Imperium understood. This wasn't a fluke. It was a reckoning. Terran soldiers were unlike any known. While most civilizations relied on AI proxies and remote combatants, the Terrans waged war in person, caked in ash, boots in mud, breathing smoke. Dominion soldiers, used to sanitized warfare, were horrified. The humans didn't break when outgunned. They didn't surrender when cornered. They adapted, improvised, overcame. And worst of all were the Black Star operatives, Terran commandos who didn't just engage enemies. They hunted them. With kinetic weapons and obsolete gear, they carved through enemy armor like paper. And as each world fell, one chilling truth set in. The humans weren't taking new territory. They were reclaiming what was stolen. Buried deep within classified vaults, Kale Verwin found the truth. Humanity hadn't disappeared by chance. They were erased, systematically extinguished before the Imperium's rise. Their colonies incinerated. Their cultures annihilated. Entire planets silenced. The campaign was genocide. And somehow, someway, humanity had survived. Not to conquer, but to judge. Kale stood alone, eyes fixed on still images, cities in flames, families slaughtered, the last cries of a forgotten people. This wasn't hatred. It was resolution. A sudden alert shattered the silence. Admiral Terran appeared, pale and stunned. "They're here, on Valus Prime." Panic rippled through command. They hadn't expected them to breach the core so quickly. But the Terrans had bypassed defenses entirely. They weren't here for another battle. They had come to end the war. The skies ignited as Terran drop pods rained from orbit. Cloaked infiltrators seized the orbital defense grid, turning Dominion weapons on their own fleet. Cities burned under falling debris. Civilians screamed. Soldiers faltered. And from the flames, the Terrans emerged, black-armored, silent, absolute. Power died. Communications fell. Chaos swallowed order. Dominion command fractured under the weight of its failure. And Kale Verwin, still gripping the ashes of the truth, uttered one final command. Prepare the annihilation protocol. But he never had the chance. The doors burst open. A lone human walked in, flanked by two warriors. No helmet, no fear. His eyes were calm, not vengeful but resolute. Kale knew him from the Forbidden Archives, a descendant of the murdered race. "What do you want?" he spat. The man replied with a ghost of a smile. "Balance." The war ended not with a treaty, but with silence. By dawn, every Dominion leader was gone. No trials, no police, only execution. The judgment had already been passed. This was the sentence. The spires of Valus Prime lay in ruin. Smoke curled from broken towers. The banners of Dominion rule lay trampled. And above the tallest peak, the Terran standard was raised. Across the galaxy, every world once shackled by the Imperium received the same transmission. A Terran officer stood in frame, battered armor gleaming in twilight. His voice was even, unapologetic. "Your masters are dead. Your fleets are ash. Your empire has fallen." He paused. "You tried to erase us. Yet here we stand." He leaned closer. "Humanity does not forget. Humanity does not forgive. But we understand justice." Images followed. Prisoners treated with dignity. Those uninvolved spared. No new empire born. Only broken chains left behind. We are not conquerors. We have reclaimed only what was taken. The future is yours. The feed ended, and the galaxy changed forever.